In today's video, we're going to be looking at carburetors versus electronic fuel injection and how they differ.
So, fuel injection is a scam by the governments to rip us off, okay? So, carburetors, that's the way to go. That's where you get the real power in your engine.
Wait. I thought this was meant to be an unbiased video.
So, carburetors are the most basic forms of mixing fuel and air to go into the engine. Carburetors are fully mechanical systems, so they're much simpler and much easier to work on. That's why they were so popular back in the days with the older cars. So this is a Skinner's Union or SU carburetor. This is a 1 1/4 inch size. So that's the size of the intake there. The one in my car is a 1 1/2 inch, so it's slightly bigger and lets more air in. So the air, air filters on here, air goes into this carburetor, and you've also got fuel in here. That's the fuel pump goes into there, the fuel. So it has a nice float there. And then the fuel goes through this hose when it's needed. So the air goes in, and as you accelerate, it turns this butterfly valve. So the more you accelerate, the more air will go into the engine. And as the air goes through, it sucks a piston in here up. The piston gets sucked upwards because of the drawing effect of the engine. And then on the bottom of the piston, there's a needle which is tapered. And that sits in a seat where the fuel goes through. So the more it lifts up, the tapered needle gets smaller and more fuel is allowed through. So that gets sucked in with the air into the engine.
So electronic fuel injection became popular in the 1980s, and by the 2000s basically every single car had them. However, the first use of this was in 1940 with the Alfa Romeo 6C race car, which competed in the Mille Miglia of that year. Electronic fuel injection allows the fuel to be electronically injected into each cylinder. So this allows better performance, better emissions, better fuel economy, and better drivability. Because of these benefits and the tightening of emissions standards, car manufacturers have made this standard in most cars since the early 2000s.
So this is your intake manifold here. So the air comes in, and you've got a butterfly valve just in here, and that butterfly valve, when you pull this cable, it just does that. And so slight throttle, it lets a bit of air in through the gap. Full throttle is horizontal, and that's when all the air gets sucked in.
And VTEC.
And VTEC. VTEC gets
Can't forget VTEC.
And so then it goes into this injection manifold, swirls around a bit, and so the air just comes in and then and through
Explosions.
No explosions in here. That'd be bad. So and then it just flows around the plenum chamber a bit and then goes into the engine. And this is your injection rail here.
Ah, classic.
So that metal rail, that's your injector rail, and these clips are for your computer for the injectors. So you can see the injectors in here.
And it fits my Honda.
Well, you'd hope so, but still.
So those were the pros and cons of carburetors versus electronic fuel injection. I hope you enjoyed the video.